Great. Very excited for today. I think we can just about get going, get on with things. Still hearing pinging in my ear, which is a good sign, I think. Perfect time for a webinar, 2 p.m. on a Friday. So everybody who is here, any issues, just put a question or chat in the chat. Amber, one of the marketers from Purlos, will be able to help you. But welcome to Purlos's mini webinar series for 2024. The series is focused around learner and teacher engagement, hopefully relevant for everybody watching today, whether you are a college, university, combined authority, school, whatever. We are focusing on navigating the future, AI in education. Part of it is going to be insights today, and part of it is going to be seeing demos of real life systems, including Purlos Employ, our careers tool, and TeacherMatic's automated teacher system, which is a fantastic tool, one of the best tools in the education market for a number of years. And that's not from me, that's from a lot of people that I've spoken to. So give it a couple more, just a few more seconds and we'll get going. Amber, are we okay for attendees now?
Yeah, all good.
Perfect. So I guess everybody has probably heard about AI quite a lot. Yesterday, day before at JISC, the DigiFest event up in Birmingham. It was one of the key themes again, and some people might be getting a little bit sick of hearing about it, but there are some fantastic aspects of AI which we'll hopefully go through today. I have one of the best possible guests with me today, so really happy and pleased that Peter could put some of his very limited time aside to join us today. So
thank you very much, David.
Just to introduce Peter, I'll introduce myself. I'm David, the CEO and co-founder of Purlos, but more importantly, Peter, maybe just give us a little bit of an overview of who you are and what TeacherMatic does, because I know a lot of people will know you, but not everybody.
Okay, well, good morning, everyone. My name's Peter Kilcoyne. If you don't know me, I've worked in further education very long time, started as a lecturer in 1986. Last sort of 20 years or so, I've been working in a range of different senior educational technology roles, most latterly at Heart of Worcestershire College, and I'm known for setting up the Blended Learning Consortium, which is a partnership of over 150 colleges. And in the last year or so, I've been working with three other people. There's four of us in a team at TeacherMatic, building this AI platform for educators.
Yeah, been pretty busy as well, Peter.
Yeah.
So everybody, hopefully some people here will know Purlos that we've invited, but Purlos is a learner engagement tool, and we use different technologies like WhatsApp or generative AI to increase the engagement with learners over less effective communication tools like email and phone. We started off in enrollment conversion, supported colleges like Nottingham, making them £3.5 million extra last year, which was fantastic. And then we moved on to tracking destinations and outcomes using WhatsApp, which is working really well. And we've just started testing a generative AI tool around careers engagement, and we're doing that with 3 colleges at the moment, but we're looking for more partners as we go forward. So that's us. So I guess, Peter, tell me a little bit about TeacherMatic. It's a bit of a whirlwind adventure. What was the motivation behind starting it?
Yeah, when I first saw ChatGPT, nearly 2 years ago now, so it was sort of in one of its earlier forms, I was completely blown away by what this technology could do in just free writing text that you gave it, requested it to do so. I could see that it would be a very powerful technology for use in colleges around giving people creative ideas and saving time. But at the same time, I could see that it was not easy to get the best out of it. You've got to be skilled at this thing called prompt engineering. And so it struck me that a platform that just made it easy to use and didn't require people to be highly skilled prompt engineers would be a really useful thing. So that was the idea behind TeacherMatic, and that's what we built.
Yeah, I mean, prompt engineering, there's actually job roles flying up all over the place.
Exactly. It's a professional skill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And what about your history? You worked for the BLC, the Blended Learning Consortium. Some people watching will know that. Like, that was an organization that worked with colleges. Has that helped you in setting up this new company?
Yeah, absolutely, and very much still is. It's still very much up and running. I handed over to Amy Hollier back in 2000, and she's recently handed over to Matt Beck. So it's a partnership of now 160 plus colleges that collaborate and co-fund blended learning content and share best practice in all things digital. And I think a lot of the success of TeacherMatic to some way has been built on the success of the blended learning consortium, because hopefully I've got a reputation within the sector for doing things that work. And are beneficial to colleges, and it's given me a really useful network to reach out to. And it was also very important when we were building TeacherMatic that we used a blended learning consortium to put together a group of initially 50 and then 300 teaching staff to work on prototypes of the platform and help us improve it.
Yeah, well, you built up a really good community, I guess, and it's interesting to see where AI is going to go. I think it's hard to find anybody who would argue against the fact that AI is going to be everywhere. Now in the future, it'll be part of daily life. But if you had to kind of have a guess, what do you think it'd be like in 10 years?
Oh my Lord, that's a very tricky question. I think it's almost impossible to say where it's going to be in a year. It is moving so fast, and it's kind of, in a couple of years, it's becoming part of everything. So, and people might not be aware of things that it's already part of that we're doing. So, for a few years, AI has been part of things like Netflix and Amazon in terms of the recommendations, etc. It's now becoming embedded into Office 365, although you've got to pay £30 a month to benefit from that. It's embedded into browsers. It will be across the whole of education. It will enable us to develop very bespoke learning content, assessment content, increasingly video content, highly interactive content that is incredibly highly personalized for individual learners. So I think it's going to have a massive and profound impact on education, probably much more than the internet had. And it's also terrifying. And I think it's important that we don't just see AI as a good thing. It is terrifying with elections coming up this year, and the potential to create fake news and to create highly personalized fake news. I think it's a massive threat to democracy. So I think, and that's part of our role as educators, to make sure that we educate our learners to understand both the benefits of AI, how they becoming skilled in it can make a big difference in their future prospects, and the dangers of it and how it can be very dangerous to them and to society.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see quite a lot of people at our clients that maybe the other side of 50 years old, and picking up some of this tech is just beyond them. It's quite complicated, but it's going to be part of daily life. So I guess one thing we saw with our other products is things like GDPR. As long as you kind of read up on it, understand it, and slowly over time, if you understand it better than the average, your peer, you'll be in a good position. So yeah, it's going to be everywhere. Massive potential benefits, also certain worrying areas, but if you understand those areas and how to mitigate the risks, that's a good starting point. So just to follow on to the agenda, navigating AI regulation is going to be pretty brief on that. We're going to look a little bit at Generation Alpha. How do you want to think about, or how should you be thinking about Generation Alpha? Who are they? Why does anybody care? And then we're just going to have a look at a few systems. We're going to go briefly into the Purlos Employ demo, which is our proof of concept around careers engagement, solving issues in that area. We're going to look at Purlos Destinations very briefly, which does link to careers engagement, but that's a product that we've been offering to education providers for years. Looking at getting better destinations and outcomes data. And then we'll be looking at TeacherMatic with you, Peter, right?
Yep.
Great, simple agenda. So let's just move on to the next slide. So yesterday, one of the articles came up that was talking about the EU's AI law, which hasn't been ratified yet, but it's about 99% there. Just the councillors need to sign it off, I think, later this week or next week. That doesn't mean that all the laws will be in place or followed by then. They're basically going to come into place in about 12 months. That's when everybody will have to align to that new law that is in the EU, which technically doesn't include us anymore. But it's quite important to understand that. So it's worth having a little look at it. it's already got a little bit of a feeling of GDPR. It's quite important because the bill matters outside the EU because it's set by Brussels. GDPR was set by Brussels, and you can see countries that want to follow good processes around data protection are relatively in line with GDPR, if not following GDPR, because they're in the EU. So, America probably, and the UK are probably going to be following similar types of laws, maybe less so in America because of some of the huge tech companies. But it's worth going up and reading up about that. What it does at a key level is it measures systems at different risk levels for different industries and different categories. One of those big categories will be large language models like ChatGPT. It's worth understanding about the definitions that they put behind AI, so worth reading up against that. I'm not going to go through it at the moment. But yeah, it's starting to get a little bit of feeling of GDPR. And my experience of the last couple of years with working with education providers is, can you help them understand kind of key frequently asked questions that we asked around AI law or GDPR? Can you make them feel that the biggest risks are being mitigated and that you're following the rules that the individual institution wants to follow based on their risk level? Punishments from that AI law will be anything between 1.5% to 7% of global GDP of a private company that misuses AI. It seems to read as though some of the larger tech companies are going to be some of their main focuses, the regulators. But yeah, have any of your clients asked about this, Peter? Have any of them been worried?
Not on the no. Interestingly, that's not something that's come up.
What about general kind of worries?
The one worry, and this is something that TeacherMatic solves, is people uploading things into large language models and those then kind of escaping out into the wild. And so that's a particular concern. I mean, a big concern is around student use of AI, and in particular students using it for doing their work, which on the one hand, we want them doing it because it's an essential skill, but we want them doing it ethically and responsibly. That we don't want them writing a whole essay with AI and handing it in as if it's their own work. But we certainly want them to be engaging with AI as a research tool, and so that's a real concern. I think the whole idea of using AI ethically is a big concern in colleges, and something I'm very pleased to see is that most colleges, and something we encourage with TeacherMatic, they say that it's important that students declare when they've used AI, and it's got to be the same for staff. And so staff are using AI to create resources and for planning, they should inform students of that.
Yeah, there was an FE Week article recently about students cheating with ChatGPT and so forth. And, because there's going to be a lot of AI tools around, what I've seen at our companies when we use ChatGPT, that we always have to check. We always have to check the answers and make sure the quality's there. And the other aspect that you said is make sure that people don't upload their own data. And so our CTO made sure that everybody in the company doesn't upload any personal company data that goes into those databases. So I'd agree with those 2 points. One key action for viewers could be, we've already created an FAQ sheet for our client, but maybe create an FAQ sheet for your staff and your customers. That might be students or something different, but just a simple kind of frequently asked questions document might be on the website or a Word doc just to send out to people. That's always calmed a lot of our clients down, and it's always the same types of questions as well. From a Purlos point of view, our new careers tool is being created with providers. So one of the colleges, York College, the biggest bits of feedback we've had around our careers engagement tool was that they want to focus on the information questions, the high volume, frequently asked questions around information, not advice and guidance. So information and advice and guidance is a core aspect of careers, but the information side is what we're answering, not advice and guidance. So the database prohibits that from happening. And we also wouldn't do anything without the college's consent. So we're linking to all of their careers stuff that they've already got, but that's already on the internet. So it's just an easy way of accessing that, and it can't access anything else. We were both at the JISC event a couple of days ago, and it was Scott Hayden, I think, from Basingstoke College, one of the greatest education technologists in the industry, I think. And just to show you this website, AI in Education, I'll show you now actually. So this is the website. This is for any education provider. It's worth having a look here in terms of what they do. They talk about a number of different things, but their aim is to ensure that the changes in AI benefit pupils, teachers, and societies. And there's lots of really good resources there as well. So definitely worth a quick look at that. Just want to quickly go on to Generation Alpha. So I don't know if anybody knows what Generation Alpha is. Hopefully a few viewers do. Give you a bit of an idea. It's anybody born after 2010, 13.5-year-olds and below. So anybody at a post-16 provider, this is going to be important to you very soon. The largest generation there has ever been is going to be 2 billion people. It's a very large market, and behaviors across the board can be slightly different. So their upbringing has been, affected by things like COVID. There's 2.8 million of them born each week. But by 2030, there's going to be 30% of the jobs that are around today that are going to be automated. I think we can kind of already see that. So they're going to need new skills. And the length of time that somebody is in a job for at the moment is decreasing. So it's likely that people by 2030 in Generation Alpha are going to have more destinations, maybe multiple destinations and different outcomes. There is a really good report by Mark McCrindle from Australia. It's probably one of the better reports around Generation Alpha, but go and have a look at it. This is one of the slides from it. Maybe think about how you're going to market to Generation Alpha, rather than if you're a college having a billboard outside the college, trying to drive student recruitment or an ad on the side of a bus. You could also think about how you use influencers to drive traffic or applications, or artificial intelligence is already being used by education providers throughout the recruitment cycle, but also it's being used by students to absorb adverts from education providers. So have a little think about that. I'm going to quickly move on to our demo so I can get onto your demo very quickly, because I'm quite keen to see it as well, Peter. I'm actually going to bring on an assistant, which I've not done on a call before. Amber, are you around? I know. She's gone.
No, I'm here.
So just to give everybody a bit of an overview, so this is a pilot project that we have started. We've got 3 clients at the moment. It's only been going a couple of months. Just to give you a bit of an idea of the project timeline. It's a 6-month timeline. It costs $2,995 per client. We're definitely still looking for pilots to come on, but it's a co-design project. It's a 6-month project where the first 2 months are set up. We're testing mock-ups and touchscreen mock-ups that clients will use. We require 2 one-hour sessions with the careers team from these pilot clients every month for that 6-month period. And then in month 3 and 4, we'll test and iterate on version 1 of the product. And in month 5 and 6, we'll test version 2 of the product and launch after that. It's already getting pretty good feedback. We can give you a bit of an idea of how it works from today. So it is a generative AI chatbot. It uses ChatGPT behind it, but with guardrails, and it's specifically linked to a database around a certain college. We would tailor it to each institution. This is actually tailored to York College, but all of the data it's linked to is not their own personal data. It's their publicly available data just on their website. So it's a web app. It basically means it's a bit like an iPhone app, but you can access it on the laptop or phone or any device. And clients are eventually going to be getting their own KPI dashboard, which gives them more impactful metrics than just standard careers metrics you might have for Ofsted inspections, matrix certification, meetings, QCS, or even Gatsby benchmarks adherence. So all of the KPIs are going to be used to help, especially funded organizations, meet their regulatory needs. The kind of benefit of Purlos Employ, which is what we call it, is increasing learner engagement with your existing careers offerings. So we're not offering more digital content around supporting students with CV writing or interview skills, but we are going to be decreasing the amount of work needed to engage thousands more learners. And this is going to be for careers advisors and eventually progression coaches and teachers as well. But it will replace outdated methods of digital communication. At the moment, a lot of our clients are using email to send out careers information, and they're using things like Moodle and Teams just to store some outdated content. So that's what the actual product is. So Amber, you can ask whatever you like, and I'll type it in.
Amazing. So I'm studying the engineering technician standard. What options do I have for careers?
Careers options do you have? Let's see. Okay. So it can open up a wide variety of different careers options. So you can consider roles like engineering technician, maintenance engineer, CAD technician, project manager, even quality assurance engineer. So remember that your specific career path can depend on your interests, skills, and your particular area of engineering that you're most drawn to. It's also important to keep in mind that continuous learning and adaptability are key in the rapidly changing job market of engineering. So for more personalized guidance, you might want to speak with the York Careers team. There's a specific link there. Is there anything else you might want to ask?
Now, what jobs and pay could I get?
Okay, that's quite important. So specific jobs and salaries can vary, but if you're looking at things like engineering technician, salaries can go from around 20 to 35k, maintenance engineer 20 to 40k, CAD technician would be 18k to 35k, and project manager would be much higher, 40 to 80k. Quality assurance engineer is anywhere between 25 and 55k. Any other questions?
What steps should I take to improve my chances for these roles?
Improve your chances of getting these roles, did you say?
Yes.
So gain practical experience, develop your skills, seek advice and guidance, build a strong CV, research and network. So there's a number of different things that you can do. That was quite a lot of information. Can you make that answer shorter? Okay, that's a lot easier to digest, I think. I saw in the answer earlier, it said something specifically, these figures are estimated and actual salaries can vary. For more detailed information, you can use the Careerometer tool mentioned in the York College knowledge base. Okay, let's see what that is. What is Careerometer? Because there's quite a lot of useful careers information collateral that our clients have already got. It's just not being used by the students as much as it should. Okay, so let's have a little look. Careerometer is a tool you can use to explore and compare key information about different occupations. Let's have a little look. Okay, fantastic. So that's from the York College website. Let's see, how do I use Careerometer? Okay, so Careerometer is an interactive tool that allows you to explore and compare key information about different occupations. Visit the site, type in the title of the job you're interested in. The tool will provide a series of options from which you can select the most relevant to you, and then you can compare two occupations and compare them against each other. Okay, perfect. Have you got any other questions, Amber, just before we finish up?
I'm confused about choosing between apprenticeships, traineeships, and degrees. Can you explain the difference?
Apprenticeships, traineeships, and degrees. What's the difference? I mean, I should know. Let's see what it says. Apprenticeships, traineeships, and degrees are all different. Apprenticeships, well, that's quite a lot of information. Let's see. Can you be more succinct? So apprenticeships is paid work with training, gaining practical skills and qualifications. Traineeships, short-term education and training programs with work experience to prepare for future careers. And degrees, academic courses at universities, theory-based, but can include practical elements. Okay, anything else?
How can I decide which career path is right for me?
None of these questions were pre-planned, by the way, Amber. So deciding on the right career path can be a process of self-discovery. So here's a few steps. Assess yourself, explore careers, set goals, create an action plan, seek guidance, but remember that your career path should align with interests, values, and skills. It's okay to change your mind and explore different paths. So the way that we designed this was that we would be answering information questions for students, and they can always speak to the actual careers team at the college or the training provider that they're at. So if Amber said, right, I need some in-depth careers guidance, can you help? The way that it's being set up is that it will link to the York Careers Service to be able to book an appointment with the Careers Service. And then all of the information is here. So people in the team you can see, and the email, and also an appointment booking system as well. Great. All right. Well, thanks for that, Amber. I think we're very close to passing over to Peter, so which will be very exciting. Just going to give a quick overview to the destinations tool that we've got.
Yeah, really quickly, there's a few questions in the chat.
Oh yeah, okay, go ahead.
One was, would ChatGPT on its own give the answers that Employ has provided?
Say again.
Would ChatGPT
no,
on its own?
it wouldn't, no.
Yeah.
Because this is basically linked to the York College database. So it gives answers that are skewed based on the specific information that York College want the students to see. Any other questions, Amber?
Would it provide information on how to do these things if it was prompted? I'm not quite sure what that was in relation to.
That's okay. Are there any other questions? We can answer a few at the end. I'll look at them at the end, and me and Peter can answer questions and email people that need specific information. Any other clear-cut questions?
That's it for now.
Yeah, hopefully that helped. Well, we'll answer everything at the end, definitely. So very briefly, this is our destinations tool, and I think we've got loads of great destinations data here. It's unique. We use WhatsApp and SMS, and we reduce the work of trying to find out destinations data through the phone, and we increase data quality. But the question is, how do clients actually use destinations and outcomes data? So the biggest bit of feedback that we've had recently is the positive and negative feedback from a student, which in our system can be found under every single student, should be taken, and you should take the negative and positive feedback from students around specific courses and break it down per course and see if you can improve courses based off the back of that. So one of our principals of one of our clients said that one of their Black students was very unconfident, shy, was trying to get a job with the hairdressers, failed twice. The college intervened, careers team helped her finally get that job. She was getting a job with a Cantonian Guy-esque hairdresser, and she was one of their best employees. And the employer fed this back because the institution or college actually tracked this learner and their destination. And what happened was that the college ended up getting about 5 or 6 employers from their experience with different students that this college had placed with them. And the feedback was that some of the students weren't that confident, but they could improve their communication, their oracy skills. So what that college did is they added an oracy module to the hairdressing course, and they got feedback from the employers later on, and they were able to evidence that and show that to Ofsted. So that helps show the intent of your curriculum and the changes that you're going to make to support the local needs. So I thought that was a really good example. And just before I pass over to Peter, this is a bit of an example of what it might look like on WhatsApp. Your training provider, combined authority, or university would have, sorry, people keep ringing me, would basically have a white label version of WhatsApp. So, hi learner, it's Jenny, our digital assistant from the student services team at X College. I just want to find out, what is your destination? Okay, are you employed? Are you in education, an apprenticeship? Are you neat? Okay, so press 1, so you're employed. Okay, are you part-time or full-time? Okay, you're in full-time employment. What date did you start that? So these are all the destinations questions. Now we want to see what sector they're in. Now we want to look at outcomes. So was the role that you're in now related to what you actually studied with the college? The government's really bothered about the outcome questions. Yes, can you get them into a destination, but you have an effect on the outcome. Okay, so has this course improved your life or helped you get a pay rise, or can you perform your role better? We worked with the Learning Curve group on tracking 40,000 destinations, and they added a point saying, has this course improved your life? We managed to improve destinations from 30% to 83%. And then we track Net Promoter Score of every learner. So that's how it is. That takes about 10, 20 seconds, and it's a different way to doing things. I think that's enough for me, Peter. I am ready for you when you are, and I will let you share your slides.
Thank you very much, David, and some really impressive work that you and your team have been doing there. I think those tools look really, really useful. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm sharing my screen now. If any of you have seen me present recently, and I have done quite a few presentations recently, you will recognise some of this. I haven't got a completely new presentation, but I have included some new stuff in this. So, but I promise you there will be some new things for everybody. So, Peter Kilcoyne, I'm the Managing Director of TeacherMatic. So, just firstly, what is TeacherMatic? It's an intuitive, easy to use AI platform for teachers. We've got 70 generators. These are different tools that do a wide range of the everyday tasks that teachers, and in fact increasingly other people in colleges, will be performing during their day-to-day work. So why did we build TeacherMatic? As I said earlier, when David asked me, when I first saw this generative AI technology, I could see that it was incredibly powerful, but at the same time, it's not easy to use, and to get really good outputs of it, you've got to be very good at prompt engineering. And so the idea behind TeacherMatic, it takes all the heavy lifting away. It makes it very easy for staff to do that. So it unleashes this potential for all staff to use. It democratizes it. It improves quality and creativity. So, for example, I'm a long-term psychology lecturer. I taught psychology for 15 years. When I look at some of the TeacherMatic tools for psychology, it gives me creative, interesting new approaches for things that I could do it. So it's a great tool for freshening up a teacher's ideas about how they might deliver certain courses. But primarily, I would see it as a staff wellbeing tool. What it does is it saves lots of time for planning, creating content, creating assessments. And we're getting a lot of evidence now that it's saving 3, 4, 5, more than that hours plus of teachers' time per week. So I'm going to just show you one quick example of this, and this is a teacher at South Gloucestershire and Stroud College, Lauren, talking about the impact of TeacherMatic on her. And I spoke to Lauren after the CPD day a few months ago, and she told me that TeacherMatic was the reason why she was still teaching, that she was about to quit, she wasn't coping, and TeacherMatic helped her organise herself and her work and enabled her to carry on. And she was happy to share this with the community. So this is Lauren.
I work at SGS College as a media teacher. TeacherMatic is one of the reasons why I'm still a teacher. I was going to leave, then I got introduced to TeacherMatic, and the software has helped me so much in being able to understand things as a neurodivergent teacher, being able to give me inspiration and support me in my lesson plannings.
So more systematic evidence than that is that we did a survey, and the average time saved per week that our users gave us was 3.8 hours a week. So it's making a massive difference in terms of teacher workloads already. And it's clear that the more systematically it's embedded, and the more a college kind of has an overall approach to TeacherMatic, and it's embedded across their processes. It's woven into their approach. You can get much higher numbers of hours per week saved than this, and some colleges are talking about 8, 10 hours per week that it's saving on teacher workloads. We were funded by the UFI, so I always like to stress that we really appreciate how they helped us get TeacherMatic up and running. And a small demonstration now of TeacherMatic. So firstly, the platform itself. So this is what you see when you log on to TeacherMatic. You have a whole load, 70 plus generators, lesson plan, classroom questions, PowerPoint, multiple choice questions, learning activities. I won't list them all, but as you scroll down, lots and lots of different generators that do a range of day-to-day tasks. You can, using the navigation tools on the left-hand side, you can sort these by sector: primary, secondary, vocational learning, higher education. You can sort these by whether you want to do planning, in-class activities, independent studies or assessment. And then, as I said earlier, we're building tools for quality teams, marketing teams. We're currently building some for HR teams. You can save things that you've done in TeacherMatic. And so if I click on these save things here, here are a number of resources that have been saved on this account. You can organize those into folders. You can share them with colleagues. So we've designed what we think is a very easy to use, very intuitive platform with a wide range of tools for teachers to use. And I'm going to now show you some of these tools in action. So the first one I'm going to show you, and in fact is our most used tool, is the multiple choice questions tool. And so the way this works, you click on the generator and you've got a few options here then. You can put in some keywords. You can upload a file. So if you want some multiple choice questions on your favorite handouts, you can upload a file and do that. You can put a URL in, and that will then search a particular website and build questions around a particular website. And something that we've just added in the last week or so, and I'm going to show you this brief shortly, is you can now include it in these URLs. You can put a YouTube video URL in, and so it will build a set of multiple choice questions around a specific YouTube video. I'll just carry on with this video now, so you can see this is showing how you could upload a file, how you could put a URL in. You say how many questions you want. On a lot of the generators, we've got this complexity slider that allows you to go up and down levels. It supports differentiation with doing that. You click on generate, and that then generally in sort of 20 seconds or so will write you a set of multiple choice questions. And so there's a set of multiple choice questions on AI. So that's showing how those can then be saved. And you can also then export these in a range of different formats. So as a PDF, a Word document, the GIF format goes into Moodle. So you've got Kahoot and quizzes. We've just added booklet as well. And we've got form outputs for Blackboard and for Canvas. And so this is showing exporting those questions as a Word document. And I want you to see now what you can then do with that Word document with forms. If you go to your Microsoft Forms account, click Quick Import, import that document, click on Quiz. It says it's going to take a minute. It takes about 10 seconds, actually. That will change that Word document into a Microsoft Forms quiz. Now, if you think about the workflow of that, to write 10 multiple questions is a good hour's work. To build those into forms, probably take you another hour. You've now changed 2 hours into 2 minutes. And so there you've got all those questions in Microsoft Forms. Okay, I'm now going to just show you a few of the other generators, including some of the new ones. This is the multiple choice generator using a YouTube video. So what I in fact did for this is we did a community webinar a couple of weeks ago. I am wearing a different shirt. I just like blue, but you see that one's got little stripes in. You can see what I did is I took that URL there, put that in here, clicked it, and you see that's then built 10 multiple choice questions on the content of that YouTube video. Now, it clearly thinks I'm called Peter Kilcoyne, and it hasn't got the spelling of my name quite right, but I'll forgive it that. But you see, so it's extracted that information and built that questions. Just a few of the other generators. This is one of the older generators, but I think one of the very important ones. And that if you're starting from scratch with TeacherMatic, this is the place to start with a scheme of work generator. And so I used to teach A-level psychology. So to do that, I put in course title A-level psychology. And I then put in a link to the Pearson's website, the page on the A-level psychology specification. Click generate. I said I want the 30 session thing, and that has built me a 30 session scheme of work based around the that generator. We've just done a reference writer. You can use this for writing references for students. So you put in some characteristics, click on go, and that will write a draft reference. This is a Likert scale survey generator. So say you want to do a course evaluation survey, put that in at the top, how many questions I want, what's the age range of the users, and that will then write a nice Likert scale survey. So just going back to my presentation now. One tool that's caused a lot of excitement in the last couple of weeks is our Ask Someone Famous tool. We've got a related one, Ask an Expert, where you can just put plumber, hairdresser, accountant, physicist, and it will ask the questions of an expert. And the idea behind the Ask Someone Famous tool is you can choose any person, living or dead, fictional or real, and as long as there's a decent amount of stuff on them on the internet, it will answer questions in the voice of that person. So just put in a few random famous people on there. So firstly, just a video showing this in action. So one of the first people I wanted to ask a question of is Henry VIII. And what question would I want to ask Henry VIII? Why did you have so many wives? Click on generate, and then that will answer that question in the voice of Henry VIII. And you think how useful this could be in a classroom where, you know, as a psychologist, I could get Freud, Skinner, Thorndike, Watson up and get the students interacting with that famous person. So you say that's Henry VIII explaining the reasons about his desire for a male heir, and then going on explaining steps, wife by wife, why he moved one to another, etc. So, and just some other examples here that I've just sort of screenshotted. I thought it'd be interesting to ask Nelson Mandela his solution to the awful things that are going on in Palestine at the moment. So I asked Nelson Mandela, how would you promote peace in Palestine? And I think if you read that, that's very much a kind of answer you would get, I hope, from Nelson Mandela, talking about dialogue, reconciliation, communication, empathy, common ground, building trust, etc. Asking Einstein about how he came up with his theory of relativity. Asking Jane Austen here, where did she come up with ideas for Pride and Prejudice? Imagine this, say, teaching sports, asking famous sports stars about their training regimes, about their diet, etc. And so asking here Serena Williams about what part diet played in her training regime. The next one I'm going to show you, a bit odd, but this came up because it's one of our users did a post on LinkedIn about how they've been using TeacherMatic to simulate Vicky Pollard from Little Britain, and they've been bringing Vicky Pollard into their teaching. And so this is me asking Vicky Pollard her views on Brexit. And if you read what Vicky Pollard has said, try and do it. I'm not going to do the imitation myself, but that is very much a Vicky Pollard type answer. And you see how good it is at producing that kind of voice.
We'll have to get you to do that next time, Peter.
Okay, so do you want me to stop now, David, as you appeared, because we kind of want to move on to the questions?
No.
Okay, right.
Okay.
I'm just going to show you another short video, which is Deb Gray, who's the principal of Hull College. We came across this isn't something Deb did forward, it was a podcast of Deb being interviewed we came across, and someone said, you've got to listen to Deb talking about TeacherMatic. And in about 1 minute, she does the best description I've ever heard of how to use TeacherMatic. So I do like to share this.
Have you got a favourite one that's come up recently, a tool or a mechanism or something that's come up from the ground?
So I'm a big fan of TeacherMatic. So TeacherMatic is a platform that's designed to help teaching staff, frontline teaching staff, produce resources and administration better. So sometimes as a principal, you have to roll your sleeves up. You get a project in, there's nobody else to do it. You're the one in the hot seat. And I had to write a unit on sustainability for a foundation degree, which was part of a project. So we'd already got a number of platforms in, teacher-based AIs to pilot, because I like to play with a number of different things with staff, and then we'll go with the one they like the best or that works for them. And so I needed to generate this unit absolutely from scratch. So I plugged into TeacherMatic all of the things I knew it needed to do from my own expertise, and I said, okay, go, give me your first iteration. Within 10 seconds, I had a scheme of work, I had 12 sets of lesson plans, I had all the questions, I had activities for class, I had my presentations. And then what I needed to do with that is apply my expertise to it. But I didn't have any fear of a blank page. I wasn't starting from scratch, and it was easier to augment than it was to create. So what that did for me was probably save me about a week and a half's time. And that is a thing of beauty. And if you times that by however many units a typical teacher in a further education college will be responsible for, it makes their life easier. And I know that.
Okay, so I think that's a really powerful method, that when you're starting with a blank slate, you TeacherMatic create your scheme of work, your lesson plans, your multiple choice questions, your PowerPoints, your classroom questions, and build your whole course around it. But see it as a very, very good digital assistant who's writing a strong first draft for you. But then as a teacher, this isn't taking your expertise away. It's about you then using your expertise and building on what the AI gives you and improving on it. So I will finish there.
That was a great testimonial, that Peter, just naturally from Deb, great. And
Yeah.
the student's testimonial was maybe even better. I guess over the last 3-4 years working with training providers and colleges, I think one of the biggest things we've found is everybody's pretty busy all the time, and sometimes stressed. And I think the last couple of years I asked what was the biggest problem in the industry. A lot of the principals said finding staff.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a real AI one, and this is one of the definite benefits that I think AI will provide. Is it? I'm hoping it will impact on staff retention. It's too early to say now, though. Obviously, in the case of Lauren, that college retained Lauren because she was about to quit. And something that came out at our webinar a couple of weeks ago, Lauren was very open about the fact that she's neurodiverse, and quite a number of people. We had over 100 people, I think, in our webinar, about 150 or so. And a few other people said from their own experience, yes, I'm neurodiverse, and this AI is an absolute godsend for me because it helps me organise myself. And so that wasn't something we thought about at all in terms of when we were setting TeacherMatic up, but it's one of the wonderful kind of spin-offs that it is a really good accessibility tool.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, in the research we did around our careers tool, it was Freddie from York, and a couple of people said this: saving time is a key thing. I said, what do you spend most of your time doing? And one of the key things was sitting down with students, writing the notes. And really, it takes 15 minutes to write some notes around one of the careers conversations I had with one of the students. It should take 30 seconds. You spend that time on doing something else. Yeah, I mean, it's a very good indicator of how good the system is from how many colleges have used it and in such a short amount of time. I think somebody was asking about whether they could use it. What's the easiest way to kind of use it?
I'm just sharing a free. I was at DigiFest with your good self last few days, and JISC 2024. I'm sure you can all remember that, capital J. That is a username and a password. So if you go to teachermatic.com, go to log on and put in JISC 2024, and that will work until the end of the month.
Yeah.
And then if you are interested in finding out more, just email me. There you go. And I see Stella saying, wow, I'm thinking of all the hours I spent planning in my 25 years teaching career. This could be a game changer. That's exactly what it's for.
How much time could she have saved?
Hours. I mean, you know, as you're saying, 4 hours a week, 5 hours a week is a typical. You've multiplied that across 3 terms and 25 hours.
So people can sign up through the website and just start using it straight away, a limited version of it, or?
Well, I'm just doing the maths actually for Stella, 150. About 3,000 hours, Stella, is how much time that would have saved you across your 25 hours. So yeah, if you go to teachermatic.com, and use JISC 2024, JISC with a capital J. I'll just type that again one more time. As the username and the password, you get a fully functional account for the next 2 weeks. You can sign up for a free account, but you only get 5 goes a day, and after a week it's 1 go a day. It costs us money every time someone uses it, so the free account does have to be quite restricted. If your college isn't using TeacherMatic yet, it should be. We've now got well over half of all the FE colleges in the country are using TeacherMatic. So go and speak to your principal or your manager and say, we need TeacherMatic. This will save us all time. It will promote well-being. I can put you in touch with other colleges using it who will share very positive stories for us about that.
Yeah, perfect. I've got a quick question before we finish up, Peter. Managers, principals, vice principals, it looks like you've got generators for them versus teachers. Is there any difference in the generators or the way that they use it?
Well, it's kind of the same in terms of you go to TeacherMatic, you click on the generator that does the job you want, you put in a few words, click generate, and it produces something. It's just what it's doing. You know, we've got one that writes a strategy if you're a manager, but in a sense that's saving you time on doing that. We would recommend that that's the first draft that you would then work on. It's the same approach that for a teacher. It will write you a good set of multiple choice questions, but look at those, you might be able to improve them. It'll write you a lesson plan, but look at it, you might be able to improve it. So the overall approach is much the same. I'm just looking at the feedback. Sandra, the development team are really responsive to, if you have an idea or think there's something missing, they will investigate and implement quickly. And that is something we really do try to do at TeacherMatic. Is when we launched it, we had 18 generators. We've got over 70 now, and that's all driven by the community. Can you get TeacherMatic through the Blended Learning Consortium? The price we do it at, Frank, we can't really offer any additional discounts, but we do very much partner with the Blended Learning Consortium, and I'm presenting at one of their events in the next week or two. You get an extra training session as a member of the Blended Learning Consortium. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Any more questions there to answer, Peter, before we finish up?
I'm not seeing any.